Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. The epic showdown between Luffy and Kizaru is currently getting underway, and this is promising to shake the world of One Piece to its very foundations. Now, despite being captured, Garp is on the verge of discovering the magnitude of this monumental confrontation, and this could be the starting point for his escape towards the enigmatic Egghead Island. So in today's video, we're going to delve into the possibility that Garp could play a crucial role in this titanic clash between Luffy and Kizaru, and also examine how his intervention could become central to the plot. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel, or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like, and even subscribe, and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it continues to motivate us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, Garp is a figure of indisputable relevance in the One Piece universe, and he's played a central role in both Luffy's journey and the overall narrative of the Navy. But now, with Luffy facing imminent threats, it is highly likely that Garp could react quite strongly upon learning of the colossal confrontation unfolding on Egghead Island, especially after his recent capture at the hands of the Blackbeard pirates. Now, Garp is a deeply complex character with emotions and loyalties intricately intertwined between his family as well as his devotion to the Navy, and his history of actions, such as the moment he almost confronted a Kainu during the simmering Battle of the Best in Marineford, proves valuable clues about his possible reaction to what's going on currently. First and foremost, Garp is a devoted grandfather whose love for his grandsons, Luffy and Ace, is unconditional, and the deep scars left by the moment that he found himself powerless in the face of Ace's death and the threat to Luffy at the hands of a Kainu remain quite alive in his memory, because on that occasion, he clearly expressed a desire to avenge Ace's death, momentarily breaking with his code of honor and his duty as a Marine. Therefore, it's safe to assume that upon finding out that Luffy is facing off against Kizaru, another Marine Admiral, Garp will likely be consumed by fury and despair, and he'll be eager to intervene and protect his grandson. And his protective instinct and love for his family could temporarily overshadow his sense of duty as a Marine, compelling him to hurtle towards Egghead Island regardless of the imminent dangers. However, Garp's situation is complicated by his detention under the rule of the Blackbeard pirates, which may have worn him down both physically and emotionally, potentially affecting his ability to make rational decisions as well as fight for his own life. But one can never underestimate the strength and determination that Garp has. Therefore, it's possible that he could find a way to escape, or even be rescued by allies such as Sengoku or other members of the Marines who may still have sympathy and care for him. Once he's free and aware of the crisis going on Egghead Island, Garp would undoubtedly rush towards the conflict and ignore any obstacles that arise, because his motivation would be fueled by a deep sense of guilt stemming from his absence of protecting Ace during the Battle of Marineford. So he would never allow himself to fail again in defending another one of his grandsons, most especially Luffy. However, it's essential to note that as the battle unfolds, Garp could find a way to reconcile his duty with his love of his family, and he could even use his influence within the Marines to ensure that Luffy was not the target of relentless persecution after the battle was finished. Now, just as he sought revenge against a Kainu after the loss of Ace, Garp could seek justice for Luffy in a way that not only satisfied his emotions, but also fell within the Marines' legal and moral principles. Now, of course, Garp's reaction to this situation would unfold as an intricate whirlwind of emotions, where his unwavering love for his family would have to be reconciled against his unerring duty as a Marine. However, because of his unbreakable willpower and determination to protect Luffy, that's probably what would inevitably lead him to act impulsively, thus intervening in the battle forcefully, and it would be only after facing the complex circumstances in Egghead where he might be able to find a balance between his loyalty, possibly even get justice for his grandson. As Garp approached Egghead Island and witnessed the absolute scale of the confrontation between Luffy and Kizaru, he would be flooded with an avalanche of emotions and even memories. The tension in the air, blasts of hockey, and the incredible movements of two combatants would only increase his sense of urgency as well as his imperative to protect Luffy. If he did then engage in the battle, Garp of course would demonstrate his extraordinary combat prowess, defying all the odds imposed by his imprisonment and the trials he's been facing, where his remarkable strength and mastery of hockey would be formidable weapons against Kizaru, who of course is one of the most powerful admirals in the Marines. And a fight between them would be of epic proportions, where we would see two titans clashing in a confrontation that could shake Egghead Island to its very foundations. However, as the battle went on, Garp wouldn't just limit himself to protecting Luffy, but he'd also seek to understand Kizaru's motivation and the circumstances circumstances that led to this conflict, because Garp is a man committed to justice as well as truth, and his long career in the Navy has taught him to see beyond simple appearances. For all we know, Garp might even try to start a conversation with Kizaru during the battle, questioning his actions and trying to find out if there was a way to resolve this conflict without further bloodshed. This unusual approach might surprise both his allies as well as his adversaries, demonstrating his sincere desire to achieve a deep understanding of what was going on. As the battle potentially raged on, Garp would also keep in mind the lessons learned during that traumatic Battle of Marineford, and he might vividly remember his inability to protect his grandson and the crucial importance of maintaining control over his emotions. Thus, he would do his best to avoid taking Kizaru's life, even when the confrontation became intensely heated. If Garp were to come out the victor, Garp would emerge as a pivotal character in the quest for a peaceful resolution between the Marines and the Straw Hat Pirates, where his influence and respect within the organization would be invaluable assets in preventing a relentless persecution of Luffy and his crewmates. Garp might also work behind the scenes to ensure that the truth about the events on Egghead Island was known and that justice prevailed in accordance with the Navy's principles, and even his own sense of justice. Because Garp's reaction to this situation would involve a balanced approach, balancing protecting his family, seeking the truth, as well as maintaining justice. And through his legendary combat skill and influence in the Navy organization, these would be valuable assets in resolving the conflict satisfactorily, potentially paving the way for a deeper understanding between the Straw Hats and the Marines. What we imagine is, as the confrontation between Luffy and Kizaru reaches its peak, Garp could enter the battle, and the world around them would appear to freeze, as two giants clashed with overwhelming power, and the shockwaves from his strikes would resonate throughout Egghead Island, leaving his allies and opponents alike stunned by the enormity of this confrontation. Now, the Admiral, mostly known for his aloof behavior and laid-back manner, would finally come across someone who challenges him as an equal, and the battle would be intense, and the island would become the battleground where his decisions would have a lasting impact. In this exchange, we'd get to see Garp not only demonstrate his immense physical strength, but his cunning as well as his experience. And he would realize that Kizaru, like a lot of the other admirals, is loyal to the Marines, acting on orders that he's given. This would likely lead Garp to reflect deeply on the complexities of the system in which he himself has served for so many years. And he might even wonder if Kizaru is acting of his own accord or simply just following orders. As any fight lasted between Garp and Kizaru, Garp would take the opportunity to question Kizaru on the motives behind his confrontation, and he might even try to understand the reasons why Kizaru was pursuing Luffy and his allies, and maybe even see if there's a way to resolve the situation in a much less destructive way. And through this approach, he might create a lull in the battle, allowing both sides to voice their intentions. However, Garp would still never lose sight of his responsibilities as Luffy's grandfather and protector. If he even sensed a moment where Luffy was in imminent danger, he would never hesitate to intervene in a much more direct and forceful manner, because his determination to protect his family is unwavering, and he would do everything in his power to ensure Luffy's safety. After a confrontation like this, regardless of its outcome, Garp would still play a key role in finding a peaceful solution between the Marines and the Straw Hats, and he might even be able to use his influence within the Navy, as well as his commitment to justice, to prevent Luffy and his allies from becoming targets of relentless persecution. In short, Garp would enter this battle against Kizaru with all of his strength and wisdom, seeking to protect Luffy, understand the motivations behind the conflict, and at the same time, maintain a balance between his responsibilities as a Marine and his love for his family. And once everything was said and done with Kizaru on Egghead Island, we might get a scene where Garp could reflect deeply on everything that had happened, where all of his complex emotions and conflicting loyalties might come to light and finally begin to calm down. So whether it was through a conversation, behind-the-scenes influence, or even hands-on direct action, Garp would emerge as a central figure in the search for a peaceful and just resolution. And he would work tirelessly to protect his family and reconcile his conflicting loyalties, while still maintaining that balance between his personal and professional duties. But with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. What do you think the possibility is that Garp might actually try and make his way to Egghead Island? And who might actually spring him, because he is in the custody of the Blackbeard Pirates, and you know they're not going to let somebody like him just walk out the door. So do you think somebody like Suru or even Sengoku might come to Garp's aid? Or would it be other members of SWORD, or somebody we haven't even just thought about yet? And also, if Garp were to make his appearance on Egghead, do you think that he would go straight for Kizaru and be the diplomat? Or is he really going to have his faith in Luffy and trust that his grandson will come out the victor? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure you comment any any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I look forward to seeing you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.